Meaningful content dies with silent views. Your subscription, like, comment, and share help the video reach more people.
The more Muslims disperse, the more boldness they have, and the more theses that diminish the ambitions that Muslims have, the ambitions of liberating Palestine, the ambitions of restoring pride, the ambitions of appearing strong in front of the entire world. These ambitions diminish as the elderly separate more and more. In an article in the British Telegraph, John Bolton suggested the three-state solution to solve the Gaza Strip problem. John Bolton is the former US National Security Advisor who was in Trump's first term. He held this position from April 2018 until September 2009. When they were impeached, Trump had many disagreements on the idea with Trump. Trump was described as a stupid idiot. By the verb "e", Trump means that he is drowning them in the problems in the Middle East, the days of Dick Cheney and the days of Bush Jr. The important thing is that he means Trump has many problems between him and him. He presents this vision, the vision of the solution of the three countries in this article, the three countries that are in the definition, meaning Israel, Egypt, Jordan, and Al-Qash, in a Palestinian state. I want the Gaza Strip to be in Egypt and the West Bank to be in Jordan and Israel to remain as it is. And so it will be a solution for the three countries, a solution that blows up the Palestinian state from the ground up and returns the Palestinians to point zero again. Of course, he also risks peace in the entire region because Egypt's borders with Israel and Jordan's borders with Israel will remain in the middle between the two. By the way, he only invokes history. When the history of the issue goes back, you will find that these three countries existed before in the course of the issue, historically. If we come back together and see this path, we can understand some of the things that are being raised these days. We understand from the year 47. The partition resolution was issued by the United Nations, dividing all of Palestine into 11. The partition decision was issued in November 1947, which was the decision that all Arab countries opposed at the time. This decision was to give Palestine to the Palestinians, meaning the Arab state, about 42% of the area of what? Palestine. Jews gave 58%. The Arabs, although weaker than now, because most of the Arab countries were occupied by Europeans from England, from France, from Italy, occupiers of the Arab world, or mostly I mean. However, they refused, stating that there is no two-state solution, just an Arab state and a Jewish state. They said there is only one state, a Palestinian state, where Jews might have citizenship under Palestinian rule. The Jews in the year 48, May 14th in the year 48, imposed a fait accompli, occupied what the United Nations gave them, and instead of taking 58%, they took 74% of the land and developed it a little later. Until the year 67, they had reached 78% of the land, which became the State of Israel. At that time, Fadel, the 22% state, were awake on the ground from Egypt and Jordan. Egypt managed the Gaza Strip, and Jordan managed the West Bank and East Jerusalem. This means that we are talking about the three-state solution that Bolton is talking about. He was an act on the ground from the year 48 to the year 67. In the year 67, the War of 67 broke out, June 5th. Israel occupied the entire West Bank, the Eastern Arc, and Gaza, and also took Sinai above them and took large parts of the Golan. After the 1973 war, Sinai was liberated, and Jerusalem, Gaza, the West Bank, and the Golan remained under Jewish occupation. Peace negotiations between Egypt and Israel started in 1977 and culminated in the Camp David peace agreement. Egypt accepted the idea of two separate states, ensuring that all of Sinai would return to Egypt and that East Jerusalem would be the capital of a prospective Palestinian state. This proposal was rejected by other Arab nations and Palestinians, who then severed ties with Egypt. And as you know, the famous, of course they moved the Arab League from Cairo to Tunisia. In 1988, he met Yasser Arafat with the idea of two states, and he began to propose this idea. The issue is in Palestinian forums, in Arab forums, or some Arab forums, and in the year 93, negotiations began in Oslo in Norway to establish peace between the Palestine Liberation Organization and the Jews of Israel. In 1994, these negotiations approved the two-state solution that we are talking about now. It will be a state in the West Bank and Gaza, led by the Palestinian Authority and the State of Israel. The issue gradually began before the Arabs, and Jordan made a peace treaty with the Jews in 94, immediately after the Oslo Accords. Gradually, the Arabs began to agree to this proposal, but of course the Jews were required for the long period from the year 94 until now to look at the issue of the two-state solution. During this period, the Jews were not satisfied with procrastinating, but rather they built settlements. Many in the West Bank, as well as in Gaza and Gala and the Gaza Strip. The dream of two states has now become it is customary for most Arabs, not all Arabs. I mean, we were talking about one state in 1948. Now we are talking about the two-state solution. Even this solution has become very difficult in light of the existing dispute which exists between Fatah and Hamas, or between the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. The two-state solution has become very complicated because they fundamentally do not agree on. As one leadership, it may include the Palestinian Authority or the Palestinian state that it is, on only 22% of the land area of Palestine, and of course the Al-Aqsa art ghetto. The issue has complicated, as is clear, and in addition to the rise of the Israeli right to power through Netanyahu, they support Netanyahu. Netanyahu himself and the Israeli right do not want a two-state solution, basically, meaning he rejects the basis of establishing a Palestinian state in this place. From this moment, the remaining theses that you are hearing began to appear, which may be very surprising to the ear, but this is the state we have reached. We saw the autonomy proposal in the days of the first Trump period. During the second Lord period, proposals included displacing Palestinians from Gaza and the West Bank, turning the Gaza Strip into a Middle Eastern Riviera, and Trump's idea for America to occupy Gaza. We also saw a suggestion for a Palestinian state in Saudi Arabia. Such ideas arose from the global situation, the Arab world, and the Islamic world at that time, including proposals by John Bolton. Colin Alio, the solution of the three countries and people in the issue based on what remains in the first place, a Palestinian state. We do not blame Poland, his malicious ideas, for ending the Palestinian existence, but the truth is that we blame the Muslims who lost their unity when we lost unity, whether at the Palestinian level, at the Arab level, or at the Islamic level in general. This is the enemy's courage to present such theses. We ask God Almighty. He will truly show us the truth, and His followers will bless us with the unity of Muslims, and the strength of Muslims will be much greater. If we are united in the face of our enemy, no matter what the enemy is, if we are linked to the Book of God Almighty and our forces are united with each other, God willing, we will have a place in this world filled with evil and tyranny. May God's peace and blessings be upon you.